Hey, what's up guys? Alex here with a new video, and today we are taking a look at another Viltrox lens. We're looking at the new, or newish, 35mm f1.7 for Sony E Mount. Now this lens is an APS-C lens and it's part of Viltrox's Air line of lenses, which currently has two lenses, the 56 1.7 that I've done a first impressions video on this channel. I will link it somewhere up here. And now this 35 1.7. And depending on when I upload this video, there is a new one coming out, I think this week. They haven't really teased it or announced it too much, but I think it's gonna be a 23mm f1.7 lens, and it will round up the Air lineup. So what is the Air lineup? The Air lineup essentially is a series of lenses that are using the same body and design, which is a full plastic build that's really well priced. $180 here in the US right now for these lenses, and again, share the same optical qualities. These lenses are budget, $180, built out of plastic, but have a metal mount and a USB-C port for firmware upgrades, and they punch way outside of their weight class. As a matter of fact, again, if you're new to the channel, you probably haven't heard me say this. If you're familiar, you're probably getting tired of me saying this, but Viltrox lenses punch way outside of their weight class. I don't know how they're creating such budget lenses, but their results just speak for themselves, and I've become a huge fan of Viltrox over the past few years. This lens, I think, is a must-have if you're an APS-C shooter. Why do I say that? Well, a 35mm f1.7 for APS-C essentially is the equivalent of a 50mm focal length in full frame terms, which happens to be my favorite focal length. And I personally think should be a focal length every photographer has in their bag because it's the most versatile. You can do portraits, you can do landscape, you can do street, you can do everything with 50mm. And at 180 bucks, if you have an APS-C camera, there's no reason why you shouldn't have this focal length. And this lens checks all the boxes. So it's sharp, it's lightweight, it's affordable, and I've really enjoyed shooting it. As a matter of fact, I've always said these lenses punch way outside of their weight class. I've never really tested it, so I really wanted to compare it and push it in this video, and I decided to take out my 50mm G Master and shoot it side by side with this lens and see the results. Now, I did cripple the G Master a little bit, and what I mean by that is this lens in full frame terms is essentially a 52mm f2.5. So what I did is I grabbed my G Master. As a matter of fact, I probably gave it an advantage because I stopped it down to f2.5 to compare the depth of field and perspectives with this lens. And I will put the results up now. And you're gonna see that without zooming in, the results look very similar. Of course, the G Master is a little wider because it's 50mm versus like 52.5mm. But looking at it side by side in regular resolution, they look very similar. If you were to crop in, you would obviously tell that the G Master is sharper, but you'd have to pixel peep to see those differences. Even the background blur coming out of this crop sensor lens really surprised me. As a matter of fact, the background blur you can get out of this lens is very impressive and very soft, and I was very surprised it's coming out of a $180 lens. Is this lens perfect? Actually, not even close. As a matter of fact, I think this is the most flawed Viltrox lens I've tested. Now stop, I don't mean this in a bad way. I usually say Viltrox lenses at this price point have chromatic aberrations and purple fringing. This lens has that, and that's to be expected at $180. But this lens actually has the heaviest vignetting I've seen out of any Viltrox lens. Actually surprised me. And right now, there isn't a Lightroom profile correction, which means if you're editing photos with this lens right now, you are getting heavy vignetting shot wide open. And even if you stop down to f2.8, you're still getting some heavy vignetting. Is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, when shooting portraits, sometimes vignetting does add to the image. I'm not giving it any excuses, but it's $180. And if the biggest cons are vignetting and a little bit of purple fringing, I'll take it all day long. I'm sure soon enough Lightroom will release a profile update and fix some of the vignetting, and you should be good to go. You might be wondering, Alex, but you hate digital corrections. And you would be right. I hate digital corrections on expensive lenses. I usually give it a pass on budget lenses. So for this lens at 180 bucks, needing a profile correction to fix vignetting in post, I'll give it a pass. But with that said, you guys have seen some photos. You saw the comparison with the 50G Master. What do y'all think? Again, I will say this. If you're an APS-C shooter, you should definitely have this focal length in your bag before you go super wide and before you go super tight. I think this is the best all-around focal length, and this is a great option at $180. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button. It really helps. And as always, I will see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys. Peace.